Welcome back to MPB's Bootcamp for Algebra 1. I'm so glad you joined us. Let's go ahead and jump into our Lesson 5, Linear Equations, Functions, and Inequalities. Here are the standards that go with these linear functions and inequalities and equations. Remember, what rate of change is? Rise over run. What are our arithmetic sequences and how do we use them? What is systems of equations? What and when do we use elimination and substitution? So let's go ahead and look and see what we've got. Remember, the power of reading carefully helps. Not only are we studying, not only are we annotating, but we've got to make sure that we are reading carefully through these questions. We are using Mississippi Department of Education test sample questions. So let's see what Lisa and her friends are. Lisa sends an email to 5 friends. The next day, each of Lisa's friends forward the email to 5 more people. The process continues for a few days. Which function represents the number of people who will receive the email on the nth day? Now, we know that Lisa sent to 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of these people sent to 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I go from 1 to 5 to 25. What am I doing each time? I'm taking what? That 5 and going up each time. So if this is the first sent, 5 to the first is 5. If this is the second time it's sent, 5 squared is 25. So if I did 5 to the third, 5 to the fourth, every time it is sent to more friends, I would say that my only option for this function would be a sub n equals 5 to the nth. Good job. Let's look at the next one. Representing functions. Which expression represents the function used to find any term x of the sequence 2, 8, 32, 128, 5, 12, and so forth? So I know that I'm starting with 2. That is where I start. Now, what do I do each time I go to a different term? This is my first term, second term, third term, fourth term, and fifth term. What am I doing? I am multiplying by 4. So if I'm multiplying by 4, 2 is where I start. 4 is my common change or common difference. And then I am going to raise that 4 to what? The term minus 1. So let's see. If I have, starting with 2 times 4, and let's see if we can find the third term using this. To the third minus 1. So I would have 2 times 4 squared, which is 16. 2 times 16 is 32. So obviously, which one is my answer? There we go. All we had to do was remember what we learned about our sequencing and then work through the information that's given. Good job. Remember how we solve for solutions in systems of equations and inequalities. Remember, a system of equations and inequalities usually have 2 in Algebra 1 equations. Cell phones. A cell phone company is offering a plan for unlimited talk and text with an additional charge for data that can be represented by the function C of G equals 14.99 G plus 32, where C represents the cost in dollars and G represents the number of gigabytes of data. According to this model, fill in the blank with the values that complete the sentence. The cost of the plan for unlimited talk and text is what? Well, let's see. It says G represents the gigabytes, C represents the cost, so that means what? I would have 32 is how much the talk and text is going to be, with an additional cost of 14.99 for each gigabyte that I am using. All I'm doing is taking those questions, annotating the information it's given me, and then plugging it in for my answers. Good job. Medicine and a local store. The amount of medicine in a patient's bloodstream is shown by the function A of H equals 600 times 0.75 to the H, where H is the number of hours that have passed since the medication was given. What does 0.75 represent in this function? Well, what it means is out of 1, 0.75 I am using. That means what? That's what's left. 75% of the medication is left. Therefore, I can say the amount of medicine in the bloodstream decreases by 25% each hour. Good job. A local store ordered a shipment of video games. The store sells 30 systems weekly to customers. As a result, the number of systems in stock decreased to 190 in the first week. Which statement correctly interprets the rate of change or the y-intercept of the given situation? Select 2 answer choices. All right, so let's just go through these answer choices. There are 30 systems sold each week. I do not know that. Or do I know that? The store sells 30. Yes, I do. So I do know that it sells each week. There are 160 systems in the shipment. Do I know that? Well, in my passage, it does not tell me how many comes in a shipment. It just says that I get a shipment. So I cannot say for sure that is correct. There are 190 systems in the shipment. Again, it does not tell me that in the passage, so I cannot say for sure that is true. The situation can be modeled as y equals 30x minus 90. Well, I don't know why I would be subtracting 190 because it just says it decreased to 190. So I cannot say for sure that is true. This system can be modeled as y equals negative 30x plus 220. So if I take negative 30 and just put for that first week, which is negative 30 plus 220, y would equal 190. And I know for sure that after that first week, it did equal 190 of my stock. So I can say for sure that E is my answer. All I'm doing is going through my passage, annotating, going through my answer choices, and seeing if I can make those true with what I've known and gotten from my passage. Good job. Statements about the graph. Which statements are true about the line showed on the graph? Select 2 answer choices. The point negative 4, 0 is on the graph. So let's go ahead and just write that up here. Negative 4, 0. It does not touch the graph, so that is not my answer. The point 0, negative 4. Well, let's see. 0 and then go down. That is true. So I know this one's an answer. The point 36, 28. Well, I don't even see that. So I'm going to say no because I cannot say for sure by being shown on this graph. So that is not the answer. The graph represents the equation 2x minus 3y equals negative 12. Well, Ms. Killen, how would I know that? I would plug that into Desmos and see if I have this point on Desmos. When I plug that into Desmos, I do not get that. So let's try E. The graph represents 2x plus 3y equals negative 12. When I plug that into Desmos, this one is my answer choice. Now, I am taking into consideration that we have learned how to plug in our equations for Desmos. I'm taking into consideration that we've learned how to plug this into our calculator. So that's why I did not show you how to plug into Desmos, because I'm wanting you to practice doing this on your own. So good job, guys. Which system of equation is represented by the graph? So for this one, what we're going to do is we are going to pull up Desmos with this one because I do want you to see how we plug this system in. So the first thing I'm going to do is plug in my first answer choice, x minus 5y equals 14. And then I have, well, I don't read really have to put anything else because I do not have a number that goes through my x-axis at this point. So I know automatically A is not the answer. So that was a good way to already eliminate an answer choice. Let's look at B. So I have x plus 5y equals -6. Possible, possible. Then I'm going to put my next one in, which is 5x plus 4y equals 12. This is not, because it crosses at 4, -2, and it crosses at 4, -2. So yes, it is one of our answer choices. So we're going to go ahead and circle B. So now let's look at C. Let's take these off. C reads 3x minus 3y equals 6. Let's scroll out so we can see these as we put them on. Or we can hit the house to go back to the original. And then I'm going to put my next one in, which is 2x minus 5y equals 18. Well, that's definitely not where it crosses, so I know that C is not the answer. So let's go back and try D, making sure that we don't have two answers. So I have 3x plus 3y equals 6. And then I have 2x plus 5y equals -2. Let's see. Do we cross? Yes, we do. And we also cross the y at +2. And I cross at 1. So let's go back and double check B again to make sure that it does look like this. So let's go ahead and put B up there with this one. So I had x plus 5y equals -6. Oh, well now that I'm looking at this, is B a possible answer choice now? 5x plus 4y equals 12. So, Ms. Killen, this was a good opportunity, was it not? Yes, it was. So, where it looked the same, when we looked at where it crossed, it does intersect at the same place, but as we look closer to our graph that we have in the picture, it does not cross the y-axis in the same place as our answer choice D. So, I would say that answer choice D is going to be the answer. So that is one way. When we see something that looks similar, we're going to have to look closer to where it crosses each other, the intersection, or where it crosses our y-axis, or where it crosses our x-axis. You always want to make sure. So we said that our answer choice is D. Good job. Thank you so much for joining us here for our boot camp at MPB, and as always, have a great day.